Um, good evening, everybody. I really want to trust that we are doing okay today. I'm sorry about the live that didn't start on time, and that's because OBS happened and I'm unable to like sync my headphones with my laptop, so I mistakenly stopped the stream. So at the end of this video, I would once the video is like processed already, I'm going to cut out the parts that took too much time. Yes, so I want to say a very big thank you for tuning in. I want to say a very big thank you for coming around. Um, please do help me confirm if I have like a smooth audio, smooth video, and I do not have frame drops at all. Please help me confirm that before I kick off with the stream. And by the way, I am unable to like hear myself. Not loud enough. How about like this? Yeah, I think this should be loud enough. This should actually be loud enough. I think I'll not be streaming with my headphones today because it is not coming up. Okay. Yes, it is better. I think I don't know. I'm not like used to this mic yet, so I have like couple of issues around it, so I'm not like used to it. Yes, so again I want to say a very big thank you for coming out, for tuning in. Of course, we are outside now. We are outside our normal, social life and physical people. You guys are like who knows where everybody is. Everybody's like far away. Yeah, so if you're joining in for the first time, my name is Paul and today is my 17th day of my cloud security. Sorry, today's my 17th day of my 100 days of cloud security, which is a challenge I started a couple of weeks ago. And this is just me learning in public. This is me doing things in everybody's faces, just so so I can of course have like a form of social presence and my presence on the street of the internet. So why not? Um, if you are yet to, of course, subscribe to the channel, please do not forget to like subscribe to the channel. I would be super glad if you can. So again, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody. Please help me still confirm again if my feed is not laggy, like my video is not laggy at all. So let me confirm. Thank you. So yesterday I was on and about what's it called? Um Networking in the clouds. I'm trying to like learn around networking in AWS, Azure, and GCP. But right now, I'm going to be starting with AWS. I started yesterday. I was able to understand what VPCs are. I was able to know what exactly happens in a VPC. How that sorry, I'm trying to like pull up my notepad. So how that VPC gives us like better control, better and full control over our virtual networking environment and resources and connectivity and placement and security, all of those things. Yeah. So in IPv4, I know that you can use both IPv4. Sorry, in VPC you can use both IPv4 and IPv6 addressing. With IPv4, we can select and assign a VPC, right? If a VPC cider block of from a maximum of 16 to a minimum of 28, right? So once you have a cider block, you can define the subnets, yada yada yada, like that. But yeah, I think I'm always like super grateful whenever I like come on the stream and I learn, and I'm always like super grateful again that all of these things happened and I'm able to like go through them all over again. So I want to say you guys should not like get tired of coming out to come and support me. it means a very big loss for me. As right now, I have not been able to like secure sponsorship. Loki, I think I was like having a conversation with somebody around sponsorship, and I felt I am like seeking for sponsorships too early, right? I know I'm a creator. I know I'm a creator, but yeah, all of my bills, Loki would not pay itself, right? So as much as I enjoy doing whatever it is that I do, I really want to like make from it. I was like sort out my bills from it. So that's why I'm like even pushing that. Oh, of course, once I get monetized on YouTube, of course that's not like the end goal, right? But it's part of the goals, right? AWS networking. Okay, yeah, yeah. So like that, and I will soon start my lessons for today. So I think I did something this evening that I normally don't do, and that is that I did not share my link on any platform. I would definitely do that maybe after the stream, but right now I did not share the link to anybody. And I think I've been like emphasizing it at some points that I will be streaming randomly during the day. Maybe when I'm trying to, maybe fix my machine, try and do one or two things, do this one, do that one. I'll just pop up on the stream, right? Because I know that low key, whenever I like come at night, it's like strategic hour, like do my live streams at night, and that's because of our here in Nigeria, and the way everybody works. I believe, and I think everybody believes that once it is eight past 8 9, everybody should like be at home, maybe back from work. Lagos people excluded, right? So yeah, like back from work, yeah, maybe like relaxing already, and if you are maybe outside of Nigeria, maybe in the US, you guys are like you're in the past, right? Sorry, your time zone is behind, so you guys will probably like be in the evening, in the afternoon right now. So that's why I chose to like do the stream in the night, because I would have loved to do the stream in the morning, say, oh, when I'm coming. I like majorly, like for now I'm not like doing anything, no schooling, nothing. I was actually on internship from school, right? So right now we are just on break. That's why I'm like able to like do all of these things. So if I choose to like do the stream in the morning, if I choose to do the stream in the morning, if you are outside of Nigeria, it will probably be towards midnight or maybe very early in the morning at your side. So I would, of course, I know I was like pull the kind of tractions I used to put. I was like average like the 100 views I used to like have on after each streams and all. But then I just felt it like be convenient to like do the stream in the afternoon, and I'm just gonna be doing vertical streams in the afternoon. I'll do my normal cloud security journey at night, and the what's it called in the afternoon. So that's basically just it. I'm really hoping I'm going to like be able to like reach out to more people, and yeah, thank you. I feel like I've been talking too much. I think I've been talking too much. So let's just move into what I'm going to be doing today. Okay, so today I'm just going to continue from where I stopped yesterday. So I would share my screen right about now. I don't know why my transition did not work, but it has to work. My transition did not work again. Okay, let's just continue. Yeah. So I stopped at how do resources in my AWS. um how do resources in my Amazon VPC communicate? So VPC gives you full control over virtual networking environments. Okay, yeah. So I'm just going to VPC connection options. Okay, let me let me make this bigger. Let me see what's gonna happen. Okay, VPC connection options. So the internet via an internet gateway. An internet gateway is horizontal. Please don't drop frames. Horizontally scaled, redundant, highly available VPC component that allows you to communicate. That allows communications between your VPC and the internet. Let me just go back to the way my notes was. So we say VPC connection options. Then right. So an internet gateway is horizontally scaled redundant and highly available VPC component that allows communication between your VPC and the internet. So I'm gonna clip this. So this is supports IPv4 and IPv6 traffic and do not cause availability risk or bandwidth constraints on your network traffic. And internet gateway enables resources in your public subnet, such as an EC2 instance, to connect to the internet if the resource has a public IPv4 and IPv6 address. Similarly, resources on the internet can initiate a connection to resources can initiate a connection to resources in your subnet using IPv4 address or IPv6 address. For example, it enables you to connect to an EC2 instance in AWS using your local computer, right? So an internet gateway provides a target in your PC route table, in your VPC route tables, for an internet routable traffic. For communication using IPv4, and the internet gateway also performs network address translation (NAT). For communications using IPv6, NAT is not needed because it's not needed because IPv6 addresses are public. Okay. So it enables resources in public subnets to connect to the internet if the resource has an IPv4. Hi Jesse. Jesse or Jessa. Anyone that comes to my mind and comes out of my mouth is what I'll call you. example. Okay. Okay, so the second one says your corporate data center uses using an AWS site-to-site VPN connection through a virtual private gateway. So corporations, data centers that uses AWS site-to-site VPN connections is going to be my number two. Okay. Oh, thank you for confirming because it is flickering here. So by default, instances that you launch in an AWS in an Amazon VPC can't communicate with their own remote with your own remote network. So AWS VPC can't connect with remote networks. You can enable access to your remote network from your VPC by creating an AWS site-to-site VPN. So you have to configure the routing to pass traffic through the connection. So both the internet and your corporate data using both an internet gateway and a virtual private gateway. Um, so the VPC has an attached virtual private gateway, um, and on your premise network includes a customer gateway device, right, which you must configure to enable site-to-site VPN. Okay, so you set up the routing from it so that any traffic from the VPC bound for your network is routed to the virtual private gateway. So basically, it's just through a virtual private gateway. Yeah. So what's the next one? So through a NAT instance, network translation thereabouts. So you can use a NAT instance to allow resources in private subnet to connect to the internet, other VPCs or on-prem networks. These instances can communicate with services outside the VPC, but they cannot receive unsolicited connection requests. So this next one is going to be a NAT instance. NAT instance, yeah. So there's NAT instance, there's NAT gateways. So say you can use it's yeah a network address translation. You can use a NAT gateway so that instances in a private subnet can connect to services outside your VPC, but external services cannot initiate a connection with those instances. Okay, so when you create a NAT gateway, you specify one of the following connectivity types. the public or the private. So let me click this and I'm gonna paste. So um public, which is the default instances, instances in private subnets can connect to the internet through a public NAT gateway, but cannot receive unsolicited solicited inbound connections from the internet. You create a public NAT gateway in a public subnet, and it must associate with an elastic IP address with the NAT gateway at connection. So you route traffic from the NAT gateway to the internet gateway for the VPC. Alternatively, you can use a public NAT gateway to connect to other VPCs on your on-prem network. In this case, you route traffic from the NAT gateway through a transit gateway or a virtual private gateway. So I want to pull. Let me pull up ChatGPT because I think I need a guy now. So trying to bring up ChatGPT. So let me read through the private again. So the private says that instances in private subnets can connect to other VPCs or your own on-prem network through a virtual NAT gateway. So you can route traffic from the NAT gateway through a transit gateway or a virtual private gateway. And associate an elastic IP address with a private NAT gateway. You can attach an internet gateway to a PVC with a private NAT gateway. But if you route traffic from a private NAT gateway to the internet gateway will drop the traffic. So I want to copy. So the NAT gateway replaces the IP address of the instance with the IP address of the NAT gateway. Oh, okay. For a public NAT gateway, this is the elastic IP address of the NAT gateway. For a private gateway, this is the private IP address of the NAT gateway. So when sending response traffic to the instance, the NAT device translates the addresses back to the original source IP addresses. So I want to copy the whole of this. Right? Let me copy the whole of this. Then so I can say So from what I pulled up from ChatGPT, um, let me make this big. So okay, so it says that the gateway is like a middleman that lets private instances in your AWS VPC talk to the outside world. Yeah. So, but think of it as private instance. So the NAT gateway communicates with the outside world, but outside world back to the private instance is blocked. So it can communicate out, but cannot receive anything from the internet. So the public NAT type in the public NAT gate is default, placed in the public subnet, assigned an elastic IP address, and okay, the private subnet instances this to the internet. Okay, outside traffic cannot directly reach private instances. Okay, so in the private placed in the private subnet, no elastic IP addresses can connect to other VPCs or on-prem networks, but not the internet. So how NAT works? So this is simply a simple flow. So there's a private instance that sends requests to the NAT gateway. The NAT replaces the source IP address with its own IP address. So if the public NAT uses this IP address, so if we are using the public NAT, it uses an elastic IP address, and if we are using a private NAT, it uses a private IP address. So response comes back to the NAT gateway, which translates back to the original IP address and delivers it. So the outside service only sees the NAT IP address, but not the instance's IP address. So I asked it to bring up a diagram. So the internet gateway. So this is the VPC. Okay. So public subnets, public to the public NAT gateway, then to the instances, then private subnets to the public instances. Okay. So private, so no elastic IP address. The public has elastic IP address, then to the instance. Yeah. So so the private NAT gateway allows communications with other IP, with other on-prem VPCs or whatever, or network. Yeah. So let me pull this back here. Okay. So oh, I needed to copy the explanation. Okay. So I can say this. Let your private instance in your AWS. Okay. VPC talk to the outside world, the internet or other PVCs or VPCs rather. Um, so I'm gonna clip this. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So the next one is AWS Direct Connect. So number 3. as AWS Direct Connect. So while VPN over the internet is a great option to get started, internet connectivity may not be reliable for production traffic. While VPN over the internet is a good option to get started, internet connectivity may not be reliable for production traffic. Because of its unreliability, many customers choose AWS Direct Connect. So AWS Direct Connect is a networking service that provides an alternative to using the internet to connect to AWS. So, so AWS Direct Connect, using AWS Direct Connect, data would have been previously transported over the internet that would have previously been through a private network connection between your facilities and AWS. In many circumstances, private network connections can reduce costs, increase bandwidth, and provide a more consistent network experience than internet-based connection. Okay, so there is so this would be number three. Then back to number four. Number four. Okay, so there is VPC pairing connection. So a VPC pairing connection is a network connection between two VPCs that enables you to route traffic between them separately. So instances in either VPC can communicate with each other as if they are within the same network. You can create a VPC pairing connection between your own VPCs with a PVC in another AWS account, or with a VPC in a different AWS region. AWS uses the existing infrastructure of a VPC to create a VPC pairing connection. It is neither a gateway nor an AWS site to site connection and does not rely on separate piece of physical hardware. There is no single point of failure for communication for a bandwidth bottleneck. So I'm gonna clip this view. Yep. So can I connect other VPCs in different accounts? Yes, assuming the owner of the other VPC accepts your peering connection request, you can pair other VPCs in different accounts. So there is VPC sharing. VPC sharing is useful when network isolation between teams does not need to be strictly managed by the PVC owner, but the account level users and permission must be managed by the VPC owner. Yeah. So with a shared multiple VPC, multiple AWS accounts creates the application resources such as an EC2 instance in shared centrally managed Amazon VPCs. In this model, the account that owns the VPC, which is the VPC owner, shares one or more subnets with the other accounts, which are the participants or the participants. After the subnet is shared, the participants can view, create, modify, and delete their own application resource in the subnets shared with them. And participants cannot view, modify, or delete resources that belongs to the other participants or the VPC owner. Security between resources in shared VPC is managed using security groups and NACLs or through a firewall between the subnets. So this is VPC sharing. Okay. So there's the AWS private link. Um, so there's AWS private link provides private connectivities between VPCs, AWS services, and on-prem network without exposing your traffic to the public internet. So I'm still on. Can I connect other VPCs? They're talking about connections of VPCs across multiple accounts. So the first one is VPC sharing, and the other one is AWS private link. So provides private connectivity between VPCs, AWS services, and your on-prem network networks without exposing your traffic to the public internet. AWS private link makes it easy to connect services across different accounts and VPCs. So this allows um, customers who may want to privately expose a service or application residing in one VPC service provider and that PVC or and that VPC, which is the consumer within an AWS region, in a way that only the consumer in a way that only the consumer VPC initiates connections to the service provider VPC. So I'm just gonna clip this. So yeah, I'm just gonna control C this. Yep. Yeah. So there is the transit gateway. Um, AWS transit gateway enables customers to connect thousands of VPCs. You can attach all of your hybrid connections, VPN and connections, direct connect connections to a single transit gateway instance, consolidating and controlling your organization's entire AWS routing configuration in one place. So Transit Gateway controls how traffic is routed among all the connected spokes network using route tables. This hub and spoke network simplifies management and model rather simplifies management and reduces operational costs because VPCs only can okay because VPCs only connects to transit gateways instance to gain access to the connected network. So I'm going to clip from here to here. Um, okay. Instance and control in one place, yeah. So there is the transit VPC solution. Transit VPC can solve some of the shortcomings of VPC pairings by introducing a hub and spoke design for inter VPC connectivity in a AWS public in a AWS in a transit VPC network. One central network, one central VPC, the hub VPC, connects with every other VPC, the spoke VPC, through a VPN connection. So VPC pairing has the following advantages. Sensitive routing is enabled. Transitive routing is enabled using an overlay VPN network, allowing for simpler hub and spoke design. So when using third-party vendor software on the EC2 instance in the hub VPC, vendor functionality around advanced security such as layer 7 firewall, um, intrusion prevention system IPS and IDS can be used. If customers are using the same software on-prem, they benefit from a unified operational monitoring experience. So transit VPC comes with its own challenges, but such as higher costs for running third-party vendor applications. Okay, so best practices. Um, so when you add subnets to your VPCs to host your applications, create them in multiple availability zone. So an availability zone is one of okay user okay. So use network ACLs to your subnets and use security groups to control traffic to EC2 instances in your subnets. So manage access to Amazon VPC resources and APIs using AWS identity and access identity federation users and roles. Okay, so use Amazon CloudWatch with VPC flow logs to monitor the IP traffic going to and fro the network interface in your VPC. So I'm going to clip the all of this. So I'll clip the all of this, then I would edit it out. Um, okay, so I'll cut this off. Yeah. So the last thing I will be reading this night is going to be what are VPC scenarios. So this is a VPC with one public subnet, a single public subnet. So we have the entire region and we have the VPC here. So in the region we have the availability zone that encapsulates just the public subnet, just the public subnet, and in the public subnet you have the security group and the EC2 instance. Then there's the route table, there's the router, there's the internet gateway that connects to. Okay, so the configuration for this scenario includes a VPC, with a single subnet and an internet gateway to enable communication over the internet. We recommend this configuration if you need to run a single tier public facing application such as a blog or a simple website. This scenario can be configured for IPv6. Then we have VPCs with both the public and the private network. Sorry, the private subnets rather, the NAT. So we have the public, we have the private. The private hosts just the database, the things that are not um, meant for the eyes of the end users. Yeah. So we have the public. Public entails the what's it called? The web server and the NAT gateway. This one does not have the NAT gateway, right? So we have the custom routes table for the two. Well, only the public talks to the internet, right, and receives back from the internet, and also receives back from the private subnet, right? Um, so the instance in the public, it can send outbound traffic directly to the internet, whereas the subnet can't. The private subnets can't. Instead, the instances in the private subnets can access the internet by using a NAT gateway that publicly addresses subnets, okay, can access the internet by using a network, okay, gateway that resides in the public subnet, this NAT gateway here. So this scenario is optionally configured for IPv6 for instant, okay, services launched in the subnets can receive IPv6 addresses and communicates using IPv6. So there is the one with AWS site to site and public and private subnets. The configuration for this scenario includes a VPC with a public subnet and a private subnet and a virtual private gateway to enable communication with your own network over an IPsec VPN tunnel. So this is recommended if you want to extend your network into the cloud and also directly access the internet from your VPC. Okay. So there's a VPC with the private subnet only and the AWS site to site VPN. So this scenario will be optionally configured for IPv6. Instances launched into the subnet can receive IPv6 address. We do not support IPv6 communication over an AWS site-to-site VPN connection in an connection on a virtual private gateway. However, instances in VPC can communicate with each other via VPC. Sorry, via IPv6. So I've been able to go through everything that I need to know, the basics of everything I need to know around AWS networking essentials, from what cloud networking is, all the way to understanding the best practices for AWS for VPCs rather, and this is actually packed because there are no, well, I think it's because AWS owns this thing that I'm reading, right? It's like their onboarding package, so they literally like just don't get skip. Okay, so from tomorrow, by tomorrow's stream, I'll be coming in on Azure. I'll be going through networking in Azure, right? So that as much as I have an idea of whatever goes on in AWS, I have an idea of what goes on in Azure. I'm going to have an idea of what goes on in what's the name of this guy, in Google Cloud, Google Compute provider or cloud provider, right? So it just makes me ready for the three cloud service providers, yeah. And I'm just like trying not to, you know, of course I want to like pick one and of course be solid at it, but yet I'm not like giving room to just knowing just one and not know the rest, right? I know how the job market might be. It's fine to want to specialize, right? It's really really fine to want to specialize, but as much as you can specialize, you know everything you're meant to know. It gives you like an edge, right? It gives you an edge of other applicants, right? um yes, so tomorrow I'm gonna look for resources that I'll use. I'm just gonna look for I think Azure has something like this for their networking, so I can understand that. Then after the three of them, I can easily like explore the three of them, right? I can just maybe do like some labs or just do like an example or just a walkthrough of how networking is done amongst three. Then I might maybe look for a lab. I've actually not done any Azure lab. I've not done any labs by Azure. Before Azure, and um I've only been doing AWS. But once I am like done with the theoretical aspects of this topic, which is networking, I'm definitely going to dive into the end zone, look at how all of these things are done, how these things are configured, learn about the best practices for all of them in real life scenarios, how to like configure all of these guys, because these are the things that's going to be making me better at all of these things. So I am choosing not to like jump the process. I'm choosing not to like skip the process, like skip anything. I want to like take my time and understand these things as good as I can and as much as I can. Yes, so I want to say a very big thank you again for tuning in on the stream today. It's just 1 hour. I'm coming. I think my stream says I have spent over an hour, just 2 minutes to an hour, so it's not even up to an hour at all. Yeah, so I want to say a very big thank you for coming in. I didn't share the link, so I don't have like so much turnouts of views, but hopefully after the stream ends, everybody can find a reason to come and watch the stream all over again. And yes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you are new here and have not subscribed to the channel, please do well to subscribe to the channel. These are one of the ways by which you can motivate me. I totally forgot to like add my profile link beneath. I'm going to be adding my profile link after the stream, so that from next stream I have like the profile link there in everybody's faces, so we can support me, right? So I think that's gonna be all for this night. Do well to have a very good evening and see you tomorrow.